Hi, welcome back to my channel. I really hope that these videos are helping you in getting some little nuggets of wisdom that can help be implemented into your daily lives with yourself and your children to really help you be able to grow and move through this period that you're in your life. So I wanted to start today by kind of just asking a few questions, and I want you to kind of just sit with the questions and let them resonate and see if any of it makes sense to you, if any of it resonates with you as something that you have experienced or feel yourself. And then we'll kind of go in from there. So, my first question is, when your children come to you with a question, a comment, that's completely like out of line for their age, for their knowledge, and you can just sense that this is something that is being put kind of in their minds by another person, whether it be the toxic parent or someone else in that realm, that's kind of putting this in your child's mind to where they're coming to you with it because that's what they're going to do. They're children. When this happens, how does it make you feel inside? And just think on that for a second. Does it make you automatically get anxious and defensive? Does it make you want to yell and scream and reach out to the other parent immediately and start sending all these messages? Does it not even really register with you? Does it just kind of in one ear and out the other, and you don't even really kind of recognize that what they're saying or asking you is really kind of out of the norm for them? Now imagine another situation. Your children come to you, or one of your children, and they have a request to stay at the other parent's house more or not come over on your parenting time. And again, how does this make you feel inside? Is it triggering you? Is it making you feel like you're not being a good parent? Is it making you question things? Or again, is it not even really resonating with you and you're just, we have to stick to these guidelines and that's what it is and there's no ends, ifs, or buts about it? Kind of think on those and how in the moment it makes you feel and how you want to react to the question or situation that's being brought to your attention. For me, for probably 8 years, I would react. If my kids came to me with anything that was outside of the court orders, that was clearly not something that they were able to come up with and put together on their own, I would go into this internal rage inside of me. I was automatically angry. I was defensive. I would shut down. And this went on for years. When they were little, I can remember times they would come home and, comments would be made that they want to stay at the other parent's house. They would come home in tears because they had to leave the other parent's house and they didn't want to be with me. And as a parent, you're already in this whirlwind that's going on in your new life, and you're trying to find your footing. You're trying to reestablish who you are and a new routine without having a second parent. So you're already in this place of constant overwhelm and your body and your nervous system are so out of whack that any little thing that is brought to you that's not within like these guidelines is going to completely just throw you off the rails. And it's learning over time to realize that you need to really work on healing yourself first before you're able to really help your children in the way that they need you. Refer back to when you're on an airplane and, you know, they always tell you, put your oxygen mask on first before you help someone else. Now, as a parent, your initial response is probably like, yeah, right, I'm going to help my kids first because they matter more. But in the reality of it, and it's the same thing here, if you're not taking care of yourself first and really healing these wounds that are within you, you're not able to fully be there for your children in the way that they need you, because you're always going to be in this reactive state. The reason for a lot of this and your constant reactivity is your nervous system is so used to being in this fight, flight, freeze mindset that everything automatically triggers this response that it's a threat, that there's something that needs to be done. And you may not even be aware that your body is doing this and that subconsciously you're in this state of mind where you just react. And it's really learning to become aware of when these triggers and reactions come up, so you're able to start being more mindful of the situation and being able to really take that step back before you respond to your children or to the toxic partner involved, and being able to clear your head, work through the emotions that are coming up, and then respond from a place of consciousness and really being aware and mindful of what you're saying, how you're saying it, and who you're saying it to. So a few things that you can do to kind of help you in the moment when you realize that you're starting to be reactive, or you feel all these like anxieties and frustrations and anger come up inside of you when something is presented to you that bothers you, is first remove yourself from that situation. You want to, even if it's, be very communicative and open with the other parties, unless it's the toxic parent. If you can hold off and you have the ability to not respond right away, then by all means I recommend that you don't. And that's my own personal opinion. But if you have the ability to remove yourself from the situation and the current question, do so. You can tell your children, for instance, you know what, that's a very interesting point of view. I need a few minutes to think on this, so I'm going to go use the restroom, and when I come out, we'll have a conversation. Or I'm going to go to my room for a few minutes so I can really think on this, and then I'll come back and we will talk about it as much as you want to. So that way you're keeping the lines of communication open with your children. You're letting them know kind of where you're at, that you heard them, and that you just need some time to process what was just presented to you. And if you are in the situation where it's responding to the toxic ex-partner, I gave myself a rule of, if the children were with me and I would read the message to see what it was about, I would not read anything past 7 o'clock at night, so it wasn't getting me worked up prior to bedtime. I would typically try to read them in the morning before I go to the gym. And I would give myself a 24-hour cool-off period that I would take before I would respond to any message that came in. And this was so I was able to really kind of think on the question or the situation that was being presented, that I could clear my head and my emotions, so I was coming from a place of consciousness and mindfulness, and then I would respond. If the children were with my ex, then I would read the message, and if it required an immediate response, I would respond very simply, making sure that, my point is getting across and my perspective on the situation. And again, if it was something that didn't require an immediate response, I would go into my 24-hour cool-off period. So those are some things you can do to kind of help, the first step to kind of remove yourself from the situation and give yourself a cool-off period. Once you kind of separate yourself from the situation, allow your body and allow yourself to feel and become aware of whatever emotions or feelings are coming up. If it's anger and you feel like you need to scream, grab a pillow and scream. Your body's telling you that you have all of these built up emotions and feelings that need to come out. And you don't want to take them out on your children, and you don't want to take them out on the toxic ex, because at that point you're just feeding the fire for them. So allowing yourself to feel what's coming up. You may not understand what's coming up, but your body knows what it needs to do to heal itself. And all you have to do is allow yourself to listen to it. So screaming into a pillow, crying if that's what you need to do, writing down what's bothering you, why this is bothering you, and kind of writing it out so you can process it that way. And allowing these emotions and feelings to just have their moment in time. Most likely, if you're like most people that are in this situation, you spend a lot of time in this very toxic, highly combative environment. And your body is stuck in this mindset of, when's the next shoe going to drop? When is the next battle going to come that I have to take on? And so your body is in this constant state of just ready to go, and you're ready to fight. And you need to allow your body to release some of those anxieties and emotions that are there so your nervous system can start to regulate itself. And then only once you really allow your body to start healing and you allow yourself to feel your emotions and process through the things that you went through, are you then really able to help your children the way that they need you to be present. You can say, I'm through it and I'm over it and it doesn't bother me anymore. But unless you've actually allowed yourself to feel and really heal from the many situations that you were probably in, whether it was emotional, physical, mental, you have to allow yourself to heal, because otherwise all you're doing is you're just pushing it down. And at some point, it's going to come back up. It's going to explode. It may not be a current trigger that constantly keeps coming up, but something will trigger it. And then you're going to be in a situation where I ended up, where it all came flooding out and there was nothing I could do to stop it. I had so much repressed emotions from what I went through in my marriage, and feeling so alone and isolated and overwhelmed and stuck in this fight, flight, freeze situation where my nervous system and my body was just constantly in this state of what's next, that I didn't have the time. I didn't allow myself the time to really feel what I was going through and what emotions were there from when I was married and what emotions and feelings were there afterwards. So I really implore you, if you haven't, to take the time to work on yourself. Your children will be there. You can help them along your way, but letting your children see that you have emotions and that it's okay to have emotions and it's okay to feel things, that it's okay to not be okay, and that you can heal from what you're going through and the feelings are just temporary, you're actually helping them heal themselves. It may not be immediate with what you're going through, but you're showing them that it's okay to have these feelings and it's okay to feel this way. And odds are, at the toxic parent's house, they're not allowed. It's emotions are like non-existent most likely. So they need to see and know that it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to feel hurt or sad or angry, and to be able to work through these and move through those. It's all part of life. So if you need help or assistance, there's therapists out there that are more than capable and have experience working with narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse, parental alienation. I'm also a life coach and energy healer, so I'm there. I can help you as well. You can message me and I will get back to you and we can set something up. Being that I've gone through it, I have a lot of insight and knowledge that I've gained on my own healing journey and my own journey through this last 10 years to really, I feel, offer some insight for people. So I really hope that this is some good information for you, that you can pull some nuggets, and please like the channel, subscribe below so you can know when I post more videos. And I really hope that you have an amazing day with infinite love and gratitude. Namaste.